Hello, and welcome to Owning a Piece of America. My name is Faith Bautista. With me today is Austin Ugbebor, the founder and owner of Esdiac Global System, co-founder and owner of Intercare Healthcare Group, founder and president of Coalition of African Chamber of Commerce in North America. Austin spent 22 years in the U.S. as a businessman, following the lead of his entrepreneurial spirit. Austin has an affinity for industries and sectors in which minorities are underrepresented, which includes telecommunications, agriculture, healthcare, and real estate. He believes that the only way for a community to prosper is to be economically viable and have access to resources. After years in business, Austin is focused on organizing the African diaspora and bringing resources to the community. His mission is to empower underserved communities and provide a voice for the voiceless. Welcome, Austin.
Thank you, Ms. Bautista. How are you today?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell me, what does your organization working to advocate for the African diaspora businesses?
As you know, the minority group in this country have very, very small resources in their possession, and in our organization, we are identifying the pain points of small business owners and identifying how we can impact our community by developing policies that truly speaks to our need within the diaspora small business owners in our community.
So you see a lot of barriers for your African American businesses?
We have barriers in all businesses. Then coming back to the minority or the African diaspora, we have barriers which, as you know, involve in having access to finances, having access to technical education, management, and most importantly, the information they need to assimilate into the community and be able to reach their potential as small business owners in the United States.
But Austin, what I'm really hearing for African businesses, coming from Nigeria, Lagos, you guys are really highly educated. I mean, I'm noticing there are more PhD, more doctors in your community. So how can you say that there are really barriers, and how do you encounter that?
Thank you, Faith, for bringing up this point. The truth about it is that the Africans in diaspora has always been keen in education. So when an African leaves the African continent, the first thing everybody wants him to do is to go to college, have your degrees. But all these opportunities ends in the classroom. By the time they come out to join the workforce, they encounter a different kind of problems or issues that really need the education or the help of the community in general to be able to help them to get to the next point and attain their potentials in the business world.
So you founded this organization. How do you think your organization will address this?
What we are trying to do in our organization is to seek partnership with the community in general and be able to align ourselves by asking for opportunities for us to be able to give our community the chance to understand the business world and things that are needed to be able to succeed in the business world, mostly here in the United States of America or Canada. So those are things we are working on, and we are identifying these different partners, and this is the help we try to bring back to our community.
So, my question is, how are you doing so far about that? I mean, are they really listening to you? What I'm hearing a lot, in news, right? This discrimination. I just heard one this morning calling the N-word. How do you guys really address that, and how do you fight it that I should not be discriminated. I'm as good as you are, sometimes even better.
We believe that when it comes to discrimination in our community, what we truly believe that there's some kind of resentment or ignorance that's involved. So we really do not let that stop us from being the best that we can be. What we are asking for is to be given the opportunity for us to be able to express ourselves. Give us the chance to be the information we need to be able to be part of this greater economy.
That's right.
That is what we're doing. And we talk to our members or our community that the noises, the chatters and the noises will always be there. But you have to go past there and focus on what your goal is. And our goal is to be able to participate fully in this global economy, in the United States economy, in North America economy, so as to contribute and give back to this nation.
But I think, Austin, it needs leadership, right?
Yes.
And I think that's who you are. And we need more 20 Austins in the United States, right?
Thank you.
So I think we really have to encourage your people. I believe there's like 2,600 African businesses in California.
Yes.
And perhaps 1,600 in Southern
California. Probably more, but we are talking about our own registered, in our own database, small businesses that are run and owned by Africans in diaspora, from Nigeria to Zambia, Kenya to Uganda. So we are everywhere, and we are trying to identify those places.
Yeah, so we're going to go on commercial first. We'll be right back because this is very, very interesting. And I really believe that African American, particularly African, should be given a chance to be part of California businesses. We will be right back.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Welcome back. Austin Ugbebor and I are talking about the African diaspora. You know, Austin, I've been in a public policy since 2002. And the goal of the National Diversity Coalition and the National Asian American Coalition is really bring the best of the minority group. And I'm so glad I'm speaking to you right now, talking about specifically the African. In your experience and what you're envisioning for the African diaspora, what do you want to see?
First, again, I cannot commend you enough on your leadership or with the NDC. It gives minority communities like ours hope that we are being heard and we are going to be heard, whether people want it or not. In the financial industry, we know that the diaspora community owns businesses, owns property, and work very hard. But then, if you look at the accessibility to finances to be able to develop their community or give back to their community, we find it that it's difficult for us to come by, for them to be able to have access. If you look at the technical support that most communities are receiving, these are non-existent in the African diaspora community. We are not here to separate the minority or build us in community, but what we are saying is that we have to identify that in the minority community there are different segments.
That's right.
And we have different needs. How do we as a nation find a way to accommodate and
That's
at
right.
least give us that seemingly level playing field? We don't want
That's
to
right.
we don't want to take anything away, but treat us fairly. If I come to a bank and I can prove that I have a small business and my business has the opportunity to grow, give me the chance. by giving me access to some finances to strengthen my
You're
business.
very successful businessman yourself. I mean, I know you live in Hollywood Hills. I mean, you have a good life.
Thank you.
You're right. There's not very many of you that are in that status. And your goal is to bring all your brothers and sisters where they should be, because they're highly educated, they're hardworking people, they have ethics, but since what you're seeing is they're not given access to capital, access to contracts. But I think that's what your organization is trying to do.
That's what we're trying to do.
The African
Diaspora
Coalition Chamber of Commerce and partnering with the National Diversity Coalition, that you will be at the table.
We just want the opportunity to be at the table. We're not asking for anything different. What we're saying is, give us the opportunity, give us the chance, trust us, see what we can do. Of course, you have some abuses in every system, but it's then incumbent on us as an organization to educate our community, our members, and it's incumbent on the community to give us a chance to have this access to the information they need, the access to have the opportunity that is out there.
I know the access are there, though. I mean, to be certified as a minority-owned business, there are also CRA that they have to do business, they have to do investment, lending, philanthropy in the African American, Latino, and Southeast Asian. But how do you encourage also your members to go out and look for that resources?
That is one of the points that we're trying to drive home. Information is lacking in the African diaspora community. We are here given the chance to speak and to ask the NDC and the people that has the opportunity to support us so that we can bring back this information and educate our community properly.
So you are now on television. Charter Spectrum is very kind enough to show this episode of ours. Can you talk to the audience right now, especially for the African diaspora, to be part of your organization? If you can speak to them in 30 seconds.
Thank you, Faith, for the opportunity. What I want to tell the African community out there is, we want you on the table. We want to hear from you. Don't lock yourself out of this opportunity that is given to us. The information are there. Find a way to communicate to us. You can reach us on our website. You can reach us on our direct cell phone. We have information, and by the time you get to us, we'll be able to link you to the various organizations and institutions that will be willing to help you. The opportunities are there. Come out and get it.
So thank you for doing this, because, ladies and gentlemen, Austin is your leader. I am not only saying that because I'm talking to him, but I've seen him in talking to the financial industry, telecommunication industry, cable, name it. He is there for you, and he's not selfish. So I think if you're listening out there, listen to Austin, seek out to the organization, join the organization, because he cannot do this alone. He needs you. Thank you so much, Austin. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Faith, for giving us the opportunity. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, and we look forward again for the next episode. My name is Faith Bautista. Coming up, NAAC's Lifestyle segment.
Nothing ever gonna make this world better if we don't start believing that love really, really, really is the answer. Everybody join hands, 'cause it's time now. Spread the love all over the world. Spread it all over the world.
Well, hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Ryan Gallagher, and today we are in Hollywood, California at the LA Rose Cafe. And I am with the proud owner and the restaurateur, Mr. Lem Balagood. How are you doing today?
Fine, Ryan. Thank you for coming, and we look forward to entertaining you today.
Well, that's what you said. You like being a good host, right?
Right.
Okay, good. So I just want to ask you a couple questions. So
Sure.
first, what made you get into the food industry?
Well, like most students in college, you needed some part-time work, and I got into a really nice restaurant, which was a supper club owned by an Italian man, and that's where I got really interested in doing the hosting and entertaining people.
So you like being around people. You're a social person,
Kind of, yes,
Kinda?
yes.
and especially if you know how to make good food and present good food, then that helps.
Right.
So when people come to your restaurant, LA Rose Cafe, what can they expect when they come here? What's one thing that you pride yourself on?
Well, we try to make them feel comfortable, like being in a home, and we would like to give them the highest quality of foods. We also give good service, and most especially the total experience, which is part of that is your ambiance and
Sure.
and making them really feel at home.
Sure. And so Filipino is the basic part of what you do here. The food is Filipino.
Right.
So how do you stay authentic to Filipino food, but yet stay relevant in the taste bud world of LA?
Well, let's start with the ingredients that we
Okay.
put into the dishes. We try to keep them as authentic and as real as the old recipes are, but then we had to adapt them to a more mainstream approach, so it would look and be accepted by the mainstream market as a part of their cuisine and exposing the culture of the Philippines.
Okay, and I did some reading on you, and so you've traveled all around. You have you have a lot of influence from a lot of different parts of the world. And so how does that help you, or where did you pick up some of this stuff, and how did you pick it up?
Well, basically, in my younger years in my career, I was fortunate enough to work with Sheraton Hotel, and I traveled throughout the country, Louisiana, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Part of it was also in Chicago and New York. And then my next step was joining General Food Mills, which was a big, they had a big chain of restaurants called the Magic Pan. It was a creperie, and we had 138 units all over the United States. And I happened to be a part of the test kitchen where we tested recipes. And so I learned that part. And then one of the best jobs that I ever had was with Manila Hotel and Philippine Airlines. With Philippine Airlines, I became the food and beverage director for Philippine Airlines back in 1978, 79, 77 to 79.
Okay.
And winning a really prestigious award, Best Airline Cuisine, awarded by Chain de Rotisserie.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
exposing myself to different kitchens all over the world was through Philippine Airlines. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so it's brought you all around the world. You said earlier you told me that you worked in over 15. You were in charge of 14 kitchens.
Kitchens all over the world, catering the airline. And one of my favorites was Rome, and Lufthansa in Germany, Frankfurt, and Hong Kong with Swire Catering.
Okay.
So going into their kitchens gave me a lot of exposure in techniques of how to prepare food, adapting them to how we prepare our food now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we have in common, we're both Filipino in heart. And we both went to high school in Michigan.
Michigan, right?
So we're actually brothers, if you guys didn't know that.
Nah.
Okay, so what's your biggest reward you get out of what you do? Obviously, your passion is what you've created a life for yourself by doing your passion, but it's your biggest reward.
A smile from our clients, enjoying the food, and the total experience of enjoying Filipino cuisine.
That's awesome. And a lot of people don't get to say they get to make a life by doing what they love, so that's awesome that you've been able to.
The restaurant business is a very difficult business in some ways, but the rewards are very, how would you say it, very, I'd hate to say the same word, but it's very rewarding when you have clients that really enjoy the ambiance and the total experience
It
of
gives you like a
dining.
purpose.
Yes.
A purpose and
So it's a passion that you have to have in order to really enjoy the work that we do in the restaurant business, and promoting Philippine cuisine, which I believe is one of the best cuisines that we have in the world, for the main reason that throughout the history of the Philippines, we've been exposed to 6, 7 different cooking styles, namely the Spaniards when they colonized the Philippines for 426 years, and then the Japanese when we were under them for about 6, 7 years, and then you have the Americans, of course, that protected us from all these other countries that tried to take over. And way before the Spaniards, we've been trading with China already. So a lot of our cooking are very influenced by these different cultures.
And so what made you choose LA to open up a restaurant?
Well, it's the entertainment capital of the world, right?
Yeah, you get kind of it's a melting pot.
It's a melting pot.
Sure.
And that's one of the reasons. Aside from, I think my number one reason was family. My parents decided to migrate to the United States way back in '76. And there was one condition that they made when they moved here, that we would all converge into Los Angeles because it's the most closest to the weather and much better weather to the Philippine weather.
Right.
So,
Well, you heard it. This is the good weather to open up a restaurant. So we'll be back right after this break.
thank you.
You can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Stand in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name.
Welcome back to Owning a Piece of America. I'm Ryan Gallagher, still with Lam Balagot. And we're gonna, what do we have in front of us here? What's going on?
We have 3 dishes that are very popular.
Okay.
Lumpiang sariwa, which is your fresh spring roll. We start to make the wrapper, which is basic crepe, and we fill it with hearts of palm, kamote or Asian yam.
And what's the word for hearts of palm? There's a different word for that.
It's not ubod.
It's not
because
ubod?
Ubod is a bamboo shoot, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I'm
A
not,
little different.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
different. But it's the center of a palm tree, and it's very crunchy, and people love it. And we have kare kare,
amazing. It smells
which
amazing.
you have your oxtail. We use mostly oxtail and cubes of beef. We do not add on the they call it tualia or
Tualia?
yes, because it's a lot of the mainstream market cannot appreciate it too much. But the oxtail they love. We also have, and this is with peanut sauce, and then
Okay.
we have the traditional lechon with the crispy skin, lechon sauce, and of course your steamed rice. We also make sinamak, which is another dipping sauce for your
Sinamak.
lechon. Yeah, this is more of Cebu lechon. So
Okay.
yeah.
And so, back to being in France, I see the crepe over there. So is that something that you picked up and then you incorporated it into this dish?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so typical lumpia is
Made with a rice wrapper.
rice wrapper, and
Yeah.
it's typically
But
a lot
this-
smaller.
Well, yes, and we. Would you like me to cut into it? So
Yeah,
you
let's
can
cut
see,
into
yeah.
it. Absolutely.
So you can see the making.
I know my mouth is salivating.
You
This
have
smells so good.
roasted peanuts, and we traditionally they use peanuts. Fresh garlic. But
Okay.
I've modified that a little bit to roasted or toasted garlic for the main reason that fresh garlic is a little too strong in odor, but the roasted garlic or toasted garlic, you bring out the flavor and it doesn't stay in your mouth all
Doesn't
day.
overpower the
Yeah.
flavors.
Right.
Nice. And so, kari kari, what's the base of this?
Peanut sauce.
Peanut sauce.
Yeah.
So it's like peanut butter. It smells like peanut butter
Yes.
to me. And that's wrong.
First, you take some rice, you toast that, you grind it up, and then you take some peanuts, you toast and grind it up, and you mix it, and that's what thickens the sauce.
Okay.
And then it's flavored with the broth from the boiling of your oxtail. Yeah.
That's so good.
And the vegetables that go with it are normally you have your eggplant, and we have bok choy or pet chai, and green beans, which should be all inside.
Oh yeah. So you have a lot of different options when it comes to food.
Yes.
What is the staple here at LA Rose Cafe? Like, what is the thing that people usually get the most when they
The
come here?
most?
Yeah, what's
one
the
of our
favorite?
These are some of the biggest sellers, but for the young people, I've noticed that they tend to like our tocino.
Tocino.
Tocino in Spanish is bacon. But the Filipinos have adapted the tocino to more of meaty, like pork barbecue. And we instead of the traditional way is frying the cured pork,
Okay.
but we stylized it a little bit, and instead of frying it so it's not so greasy, we char grill.
Okay.
So it would toast the ends of your fat, and it's one of the most popular.
You know, I've actually been here a couple times, actually, not many times, but a few times. I've even sang here, and I remember bread pudding.
Bread pudding, yeah.
And I know other people really like this bread pudding, so that's one thing
Very
that
popular. Yeah.
don't leave until you eat the bread pudding. It's
Right,
it's
right.
so good. And I wanted to ask you one other thing. It's a little aside from the food, but how many people do you employ here?
About 15 to 16 full-time.
Wow.
And then on part-time basis, we can grow up to 35, 40 people.
Okay.
But most of them are part-time or on-call, as they call it. We do a lot of catering, and when we need additional help, that's when we can grow up to 40, 50 people, yeah.
Wow, so you guys do catering?
We do, yes.
You do. You have a restaurant, obviously, so you guys are busy season's coming up for you guys then.
Right.
Okay, great.
Right. And, we've been here 35 years, so you kind of,
5 years.
yeah, you have a clientele that often comes back because we try to do a very good job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, Lem, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, and
Thank you.
we're actually old friends. So
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Gallagher once again. This is Lam Belgut, and this is LA Rose Cafe. Thanks for joining.
Come
Piece of
visit us.
America. Yes,
Yeah.
come visit.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice, she's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, Has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.